Hello there, welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff happening in the Vtuber world. And today we talk about Lani, a manager who used to work at the Brave Group, who was fired for fabricated reasons. You may know Lani as someone who used to work at Corp. That's right, Lani was Rin Penrose's manager. Lani initially worked for Corp, and after Corp was purchased by the Brave Group, Lani became one of their managers. You might even remember Lani as a person who was responsible for sorting out the problems regarding the late payments by various artists and freelancers. Long story short, Corp had not paid a lot of freelance workers that they were using. A VTuber Rosa was complaining about it on the internet, and Rin Penrose basically told everyone to contact Lani, her manager at Corp at the time. Rin Penrose appreciates Lani very much, and Lani is very beloved by a lot of Corp VTubers. So to hear her getting fired by the Brave Group for fake, fabricated reasons is a shock. All of us assumed that she was just resigning because she wanted to, and it turns out it was all a lie. The Brave Group basically lied about her termination. This clearly isn't the first time. Previously, the Brave Group also lied about the termination of two other VTubers, one of them being Square Mimi, which is this blue slug VTuber right here, who would take to Twitter to cry about her situation, exposing the Brave Group as a company with no morals when it came to firing people. Square Mimi was not told of the reason for her graduation, and that is why a lot of VTuber fans are losing their trust on the Brave Group. Now you know a little about the Brave Group's various controversies, as well as who Lani is. He's basically Rin Penrose's ex-manager. He used to work at Corp, and then when Corp was purchased or acquired by the Brave Group, Lani went with the VTubers who work at the Brave Group. And while at the Brave Group, she was unjustly fired. So let's take a look at the allegations. So this is regarding Lani's termination from the Brave Group US Corp. Lani would begin by saying, "Hello everyone, this is Lani. You may have noticed that I'm no longer with Brave Group US. Internally, it was presented as a resignation. I want to be clear that this was not a voluntary. I was terminated without warning, without performance concerns, and without cause. In the time following my termination, I discovered internal recordings in which senior executives, including Brave Group's US CEO, operations director, and lead producer, discussed fabricating an NDA breach to justify letting me go. These conversations didn't center around my conduct or any real issue. They focused on how to control the narrative, minimize scrutiny, and remove me quietly without accountability." Lani continues, "To be clear, I was never presented with evidence that I breached NDA, nor was I given any opportunity to respond to a concern. Had there been any issue, or if anything I said was misunderstood or misrepresented, I would have addressed it professionally if given the chance. Instead, I was met with silence, then a termination agreement requiring me to surrender my public-facing accounts, waive my legal rights, and stay quiet, or risk reputational damage." Lani continues, "I requested additional severance in light of what I discovered and asked to be allowed to make a public statement to protect my reputation. Brave Group's legal counsel informed me that speaking publicly about these events would result in claims of slander against me and that any severance offer would be revoked." Okay, let's take a break here. Everything we've just heard is messed up. So what Lani is saying here is that if she goes out and tells everyone that she was fired because of fabricated reasons, then the Brave Group would make up random stuff that never happened to slander Lani, destroy her credibility, and everything else, so no one would hire her again. That's really messed up. The Brave Group is one messed up company. I'm sure not everyone is horrible, but holy crap, the CEO, the people at the top, horrible people. And now Lani continues by saying, "While I intended to handle this privately, I feel a responsibility to speak now because of their actions and their attempt to silence me. I believe the actions taken against me show a pattern of bad faith, collusion, intimidation, and retaliation. As the administrator of internal systems and a direct witness to these discussions, I feel a responsibility to protect future employees, contractors, and talents, basically the VTubers, who might otherwise face this kind of treatment without recourse. What I want to make clear is this. I've always prioritized the well-being of talents I worked with. I still support them, and I'm proud of everything they've worked so hard to build. This is not personal. This is about accountability, ethics, and protecting people. Please do not direct anger or harassment towards Brave Group talents or support staff. They were not part of these decisions. I have provided my legal counsel with recordings and transcripts. Thank you for reading, Lani. Oh my god, this is insane. Is Lani suing the Brave Group? Why else would she add like these lines right here saying, I provided my legal counsel with recordings and transcripts? Or maybe she isn't suing the Brave Group. Maybe she's just, giving them information so she can defend against any lawsuits or something. Yeah, that seems likely. We interrupt this programming to bring you a special announcement. So guys, there's been an update to the situation. Apparently while I was making this video, Lani announced that there would be an update and someone reached out to her, and she's saying a third party reached out to mediate between myself and the Brave Group. I'm cautious but optimistic that we can come to an amicable solution to these issues that will result in a positive cultural change. Apparently the Brave Group is trying to solve their own problems internally, and they have reached out to Lani to apologize, I guess. Anyway, back to the video. Below here, Lani continues to speak, saying please do not direct anger or harassment at any Brave Group talents or support staff. They were not involved in the discussions. This is about executive misconduct, not the creators, not the VTubers. Lani continues by saying thank you to everyone for your kindness through all of this. I didn't expect this response. I'm going to try to get some sleep, and I hope you all can take some time for yourselves to rest too. And now we have some words from a few people, with someone saying, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. It was not right. We have Legal Mindset saying, glad you've retained a lawyer. While it's possible that termination without cause may be legal, there can also be expenses or costs to be recovered. Beyond that, it sets a horrible precedent for those considering working with this corporation in the future. And now we take a look at someone who used to work at Idol Corp and still does work at Idol Corp, only under the Brave Group banner. This is one of the VTubers that Lani said should not be harassed. Katarina Cutie would say, Lani, I'm so sorry it happened to you. You were the best manager I've worked with. I deeply apologize for the way you were treated. I know how it feels like when power is being taken away from you. I know that you will be so good in whatever you choose to do. We have Danny saying, hope everyone knows that you were legit the biggest hero of this company. Not only did you help Idol Corp by not leaving the company, you worked your ass off to compensate for everyone else not doing the same. You were legit the light that shone brightest in the company. Good luck, Lani. And now we have some words from a very familiar VTuber, Susie Lim, who's saying, thank you for speaking up. That's very bold and appreciated. Now, before you think everything's over, this is Susie Lim. And based on fan accounts, apparently she used to be a VTuber called Abi Kadabura, who used to work at V4 Mirai, one of the VTuber groups under the company The Brave Group. You might remember Abi as a VTuber who likes doing those very strange videos where she goes IRL and her head is basically a VTuber. It was very innovative at the time, and it still is. I'm sure a lot of you are also aware that Abi left the Brave Group because he got an opportunity that she couldn't refuse. In her own words, Abi would say, Abi yo! As everyone knows, outside of being a student at V4 Mirai, I'm a comedian. I hate to say this, but the time has come that I got an opportunity that I couldn't refuse. Sorry this was so sudden. It was sudden for me too. But please trust that this was a hard decision to make. But it is what's best for me. The senseis have been super supportive in helping me decide whether to take this opportunity. And I'm happy that even now I'm getting such wonderful support from my V4 family. As you can see, Abi left because she said she had an opportunity. But now, after graduating and reincarnating as Susie Lim, Abi's words would suddenly change. The reasons for graduation would also change. You see, after Lani released her statement exposing the Brave Group, Susie Lim would also release a statement about her own situation while also, quote, retweeting Lani's post. Please be aware that Susie Lim is unable to tell everyone that she's actually Abi Kadabura. And now let's take a look at Susie's statement. Susie begins by saying, my statement about this situation. I hope this helps amplify Lani's message and shed some light on certain corporate dynamics. Statement about my experiences with Redacted. And by the way, guys, Redacted is basically a V4 Mirai, which is under the Brave Group. Susie would say, thanks to everyone who has shown support for Lani and I. It truly means so much. Sorry I took my post down. I'm trying to be more careful with my words. I generally spent 6 months crying after everything. Oh no, she's going nuclear. And I can't emotionally handle having to fight off the bad guys again. I just ask that you stay aware. Many creators and staff in this space are quietly enduring mistreatment by individuals in positions of power. Promises like, I'll make your dreams come true, can sometimes come from people who view talents as disposable, not as human beings deserving of respect and transparency. Okay, she's really throwing Brave Group under the bus here. Black company confirmed. And before we continue, I just want to remind you, Lani has said not to harass anyone, especially the staff and VTubers who work for the Brave Group. Susie is obviously targeting the people in power and not the people who are forced to work for the people in power. Okay, now let's continue. Susie says, I'm incredibly grateful that someone has found the strength to speak up, meaning Lani. It helps shed light on things that have remained hidden for far too long. As for me, I'm still scared to fully share my own story. I've seen how some of my peers have already suffered while working with this company, and I worry if that I speak out, it could somehow make things even harder for people I care about, meaning the VTubers who work at a V4 Mirai, under the Brave Group, which is a horrible company apparently. Susie continues, I wish I could do more, I really do, but I'm terrified that my actions could have unintended consequences for others. This is about as much as I should share, but please listen when people speak up. What they're saying might sound unbelievable, but sometimes the truth is really that outrageous. Best, Susie. Okie dokie, Susie, okie dokie. Now, she still has some words down here, but I just want to say, like, holy crap. She spent 6 months crying? Oh my god. She's been mistreated and she doesn't want to speak out because she's scared that the people in power might do bad things to her friends in V4 Mirai? Now that's messed up. Who knew that the top brass at Brave Group could be so evil, I guess? Anyway, Susie has more words for you, and she's saying, also, if you don't like me, just don't engage with this. I know I can be a mid-content creator for many, and I respect your taste, but this is a very hard situation I had to deal with, and Lani, her ex-manager, is dealing with now. Please be respectful, and if you truly have questions about it, feel free to ask me. Yes, me, Susie Lum, who is the #1 fan of Abi Kadabura according to her profile. Feel free to ask me and I'll answer to the best of my ability. Just please, don't make speculations. And now we have some Susie fans saying, this is shocking news even for me, Sue. They really made me believe for very long that your treatment was a lot nicer than most jobs. All the pain I felt for your goodbye now seems like a sting next to what you possibly had to go through. I hope you and the others can overcome it all. And Susie would respond saying, Kat Oshimak OMG, I'm so happy we are reunited. Kat is saying, I can't wait for your debut, girl. Get your butt moving again. And now we have someone called Leon who is saying, this is unfortunate. I'm very disappointed because of people being treated poorly and the overall company being mismanaged. But I'm also grateful I discovered you again. You have my support, comedian, and so do the good people you've worked with in the past. If you want to support Susie, you can subscribe here. I'm not going to because, well, there are no videos on this channel. I'm not doing that. But she promises nothing here yet, but soon. It's kind of impressive that she already has like 1.9k subscribers. I wonder if she used to be another VTuber. Maybe a VTuber with pink hair called Abi. Maybe. Yeah, it's a very shocking situation. You have both the VTuber belonging to the Brave Group coming out saying that she cried for 6 months because of how she was mistreated. You also have a manager who used to work for Brave Group. Obviously, she went in because Brave Group acquired Idle Corp, and so because Lani was one of the employees at Idle Corp, she had to make the transition to work under Brave Group, and then now she's saying she was fired by the Brave Group for fabricated reasons, and the CEOs were like discussing things regarding firing her for NDA breaches that they themselves made up. Lani is talking to legal counsel, who's now aware of the situation, and it makes sense because a Brave Group's lawyers literally said to Lani that speaking out publicly about the things and mismanagement happening in the company would result in, Brave Group just making stuff up to slander Lani, someone who used to work for them. It's just messed up. It's very, very messed up. And Brave Group, who is supposed to be the 3rd largest VTuber company in the entire world, being such a horrible company, is a shock to a lot of people. First, we had the situation where many VTuber accounts under the Brave Group were demonetized for assumed botting issues. It hasn't been confirmed yet. And then we had 2 VTubers under the Brave Group banner being terminated without being informed. Well, Squirmimi wasn't informed, but her peer was somehow informed, I guess. That's still scummy, And now the Brave Group has been exposed by not one manager, but 2 people. A manager who used to work at the company, as well as a VTuber who used to be under the Brave Group's banner. V4 Mirai wasn't just a random VTuber agency. Sure, they barely had any fans. That's true. But it was also the company's first foray into the English VTuber scene. To have one of your original VTubers come out here and say she was mistreated and she cried for 6 months. is a bad look for the company. VTuber agencies have a bad image in general. I would say only a few VTuber agencies in the world have good reputations, and Brave Group was one of them. We all thought they had learned from their mistakes from their unlimited days where they mistreated employees, basically the VTubers under them, and now they're repeating the same things. It's very disappointing to see. It's a messed up situation, and hopefully things improve. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. This is Nebula signing out.